Hey, how is everyone? How are we all feeling? So, I've got something for you guys later on. So, I've created a download guide for everybody. I'm going to share that completely free download. Um, and it's going to help you go through all of the things. It's an entire, I think there's 5, 6 pages, super simple, beautifully designed, because I think that makes it easier to read, guide of what you need to do to go from where you are to taking your business online. But first up, what I would love to do is just get a sanity check from everybody on how we are all feeling. So last week, I felt overwhelmed. I felt like I was in quicksand. And today I woke up and I thought, this is the new normal. And therefore, the answer is I need to roll up my sleeves, pull up my socks, and just get back to work. So, how is everybody feeling today? I'm like this today. How's everybody else doing? You don't have to be like me. You could be like that. You could be in between. This is what I'm like. Couple of in betweens, mostly thumbs up. Tracy, you're kind of like 2 thumbs, but in between. I've got to say, I think that the uncertainty was the worst thing. Not knowing what was happening. Are we on lockdown? Are we not on lockdown? And then there's this whole big thing around government support and everybody waiting to hear whether, are you self-employed? Do you fall through the cracks? And I've just come to the conclusion that if we get any government support, it's a bonus. But we have two options. We can either crawl out of this the other side, or we can run out of this the other side. And what I'd like to do today is to help you guys be in a position that you can run out of this the other side. Because whether we're in this for 3 months or we're in this for 6 months, we will come out of this at some point. I did a huge Facebook Live today with about 500 small businesses on, unpacking what all the government loans mean. And genuinely, my belief is this. My belief is that we currently run a risk that paralysis will kill our businesses more than the coronavirus. And that's not just a good marketing soundbite. I believe it's true. I believe there are some of us who are just in that kind of rabbit in the headlights. I don't know what to do, and therefore I'm going to do nothing until I feel like I can do something. And you end up on a downward spiral, and that paralysis is going to do much more harm to your business than anything else will be. So first up, all we can do is control the controllables. We cannot control the coronavirus. We can help with physical, not social distancing, but physical distancing. We can't control what government support they give or they don't give. We can, trust me, because I spent the last 2 weeks kind of lobbying government to get help for small businesses. But ultimately, we can't control that either. What we can control is, number one, our mindset. How do we react and feel about the situation? Number two, we can control how much media and where we consume it. My advice to all of you running your own businesses is, please do not turn on the news or social media unless it's 100% for work until the evening, 6 o'clock. Why? Even with the best intentions in the world, you'll go down one rabbit hole after another rabbit hole after another rabbit hole. Something catches your eye in the left-hand corner of your screen, and before you know it, you've gone and read another article. Get to the end of your day before you start checking in on what is going on in the world, because otherwise it will take over. So I want you to be in control of the controllables. You're in control of your mindset. You're in control of how you react to things. You're also in control of the people you surround yourself with. So I run a number of online Facebook groups. Some of you I know are in them. So I run a free group called the Freedom Collective. I run a paid membership where I do daily trainings. Come and join either one of those, join other people's, make the most of what the AllBright are doing. The more time you spend around people who've got the same mentality of wanting to move forward, the easier it will be for you to be able to do the same thing. I think that's just community right now is everything, especially with the social distancing. That feeling, that sense of community is so, so, so important. All right, so there you go. That's my kind of personal development piece to kick off with. Now I'd like to get really practical. And before I can do that, I'd just love to get a sanity check from you guys in terms of where you're at with your business and what you want to do with it online. So if 3 of you want to put yourselves forward in the chat box, I will unmute each of you quickly. So come on, tell me who could who would be happy to unmute themselves and share with me, just so I can get an idea where everybody's at. Like, have you got any online business whatsoever? Okay, Tracy, are you happy to? Let's go.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi, Tracy, I can hear you.
Lovely, thank you. So my business is very much around corporate executive education. So lots of facilitation, coaching, face-to-face with large development programs for senior leaders. So across big corporates, etc., global pharma, financial services. So obviously that's all out now in terms of any face-to-face interaction. So what I'm doing is shifting a lot of my work onto online webinars and coaching. So wanting to get some form of engagement and interaction and challenge through the leadership that way.
Okay, fantastic. So do you have any online courses currently that you've created?
Yes, I now have a series, 8 modules, webinars, all focusing on different aspects of leadership in a time of uncertainty and ambiguity.
Fantastic. So really, really neat. So what is your biggest challenge right now, would you say, with what you're doing?
A lot of the organisations are in that state of paralysis that you described. So I'm having to be very respectful and mindful that there's a day-to-day survival mode that they need to be in, but at the same time to encourage them to just, to recognise that this will not go on forever, and a new norm will settle. So what can they be doing in the meantime, so that when we're beyond this, in whenever it is, that they can continue to develop and invest in their people, because we can't afford to do nothing for the next 6 months.
Okay, so is your biggest challenge right now that the people that you typically work with are in paralysis about making decisions? So budgets aren't being signed off, and then they're reluctant to maybe take that final step with you that they would have done previously?
Actually, no, it's more about just survival and operation mode. So it's prioritization.
Right.
So actually having the bandwidth and the headspace to be able to think about development of individuals, when actually, do you know what? We just need to keep paying people and to keep as many jobs as we can going. So although they recognize that in good times, shall we say, this is an important thing to do, but actually we need to prioritize and we need to invest the time and the money that we do have. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So much of that, as you're already doing, is about messaging. And the challenge for all of us, not just your clients, but for every single one of us, is that we get so caught up in the minutiae of where we're at today and this week that we forget about the medium term. I don't mean the long term, like 3-5 years. I mean the medium term, like what happens in 3 to 6 months. When we come out of the other side of this, how many of us are still going to be in business? If we end up in paralysis, we won't be. So that's what we need to keep bringing ourselves and our clients back to, is thinking about the medium term.
Yeah.
Right.
And actually, by doing this now and investing in your people right now,
you'll be in a better situation than your competitors when we come out of this. 100%. It's all around the messaging. And quite honestly, for any woman who's been pregnant, we have 9 months of this. So 3 to 6 months is a walk in the park. Like, yes, exactly. What are you all moaning about? Exactly. All right. Who else would like to? You're very welcome. Who else would like to unmute themselves and just share with me where you're at? Tell me in the comments. That would be great. And I'll happily unmute you and work with you a little bit to figure out where you're at. And then I can do some more general stuff. So Sarah says, we have a website. We do a lot of leasing in person. We're trying to put together virtual tours. Sarah, if you want to talk about that, let me know. Okay, so Jessica B, unmute yourself. And then Sarah, if you want to come on afterwards, let me know. Jessica B, where are you? There you are.
Hi. I've actually, sorry, I was a bit late, so I missed the first 2 minutes, but I do want to ask you this. So I work in TV. I have a celebrity booking agency, so I book celebrities and talent for TV shows. So obviously, I was working on 3 travel shows. They've all gone. I've got 1 show left, which is lovely and all about home cooking, which is perfect. But in essence, nobody's looking to book celebrities at the moment in the traditional way. It's just given me a chance to think about whether or not, what I still want to do and all of that. And that's kind of, I won't go into that now, but just exactly what you said, that short-term offering. On the one hand, I kind of thought, brilliant, I just won't work for a few months and I'll just sit back. And then I just thought, no, like there are people out there who've had projects cancelled, events, TV shows cancelled, is there not a way for me to still sort of connect the talent to these people? I mean, the problem is it's very easy for them to access them now because they're all over the internet. But equally, I have got 20 years of experience doing this, and there's definitely an offering. And I'm just struggling a little bit to I sort of know what I need to do, but I'm just struggling a little bit to sort of really pivot this online. I mean, I work remotely anyway. I do have a lot of online presence, but I'm just trying to work out how to sort of connect to my usual clients in the same way.
Okay, so let me unpack this a little bit and run with something with you. So firstly, there was something that you said, I won't go into that now. I'm going to go into it now because I think this is a really important thing for everybody, right?
I don't want to go too much time.
No, it's okay. I'm not going to be the person who says, oh, this is a blessing because it's an opportunity for us to press reset and it puts the environment back together. Maybe it does all of those things. I'm not dismissing any of that. But I think it's a stretch too far to say it's a blessing when people are dying. However, what I would say is it is an opportunity for all of us individually to press pause for a moment and ask ourselves, are we doing what we really want to be doing, really and truly? Because here's what I know for sure. I doubt that in any of our lifetimes we are ever going to, and let's hope we don't, we are ever going to find ourselves with such a prolonged period of time where we are unable to do very much. So we have way more time on our hands than we would have done normally, even though it was enforced on us. Even if, like me, you're used to working from home, my hours haven't changed. I haven't suddenly found out that I'm working half the hours I did 2 weeks ago, but I've got no commuting. I've got no meetings. I can't even go and see my family. There's no socializing. So actually, if we were all honest, every single one of us, even those of us who've been working from home, have probably got an extra 10 hours a week back. No, what are we going to do with that, right? What are we going to do with that extra time? I think we need to ask ourselves what we want to do. So that's the first thing. I think is a really important thing, Jessica, that you asked. The second thing is, all joking aside, that the travel stuff might have been silent, but I have never been more inundated with requests. I mean, I'm not a celebrity, obviously, but I have never been more inundated with requests from magazines, from newspapers, for commentary about business and small business. I can see so many opportunities for TV, documentaries, programs around how are small businesses coping, how businesses like yours, like mine, like all of the people on here today, how are they all coming through? That's what everybody, that's real life. So they may not be booking the same shows, but they will be booking shows in the same way you said that home cooking, fortuitous, travel, not so much so.
Yeah.
So I think maybe it's that celebrity market will still be there when you come out the other side, and you've got 20 years experience. They're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to go anywhere, but maybe there's something else you could be doing. Maybe there's different angles and there's different topics that you might want to explore. I think if I was in your world right now, I would be looking at what are some of the conversations that are happening in here. This is like a real good reflection of real life. And is that coming out on TV? I don't mean the big glamorous dragons death. I think we're going to have a real shift when we come out of this, that people want reality TV won't be the way it was before with all the glamour. They want the real, they want the raw. What does this actually really look like?
No, I totally agree. I totally agree. And actually my sort of personal interest, has waned from the sort of the celebrity thing. I mean, many years ago, and I'm much more interested in the talent and experts and things like that, with, people who have things to say. Right now, that's what we're all turning to. We want answers. So I totally hear you. I think it's just, I suppose it was just, is there a sort of, I mean, there was a show that went out today, I've actually missed it, but that was online. It's a daily chat show that's on Channel 4 now, and they're filming on Zoom, with celebs on Zoom. I mean, it's, bizarre on terrestrial TV. So it's interesting, but I just, it's just sort of, I suppose why I said it was another conversation is because I do see other layers to it. But I think it definitely requires a step away from my usual day-to-day, i.e., totally different offerings, basically. Yeah,
I absolutely get that. And definitely, if you want to have a chat about it, email me and I can tell you some of the things that I'm seeing in the online world that people are automatically reacting to very quickly, to think, right, how can we create a show out of this that is more than what it used to be, but not quite a show that's actually on broadcast TV.
Yeah. I think it's just to say, I think it's just really interesting how people are, and amazing and beautiful how people are really coming up with the creative. You know, I've got a friend who run an amazing hairdressing salon, and people definitely can't go to hairdressers right now, and they have managed to create something online, and I just think that's what I feel. Oh, there must be something that's kind of really slightly innovative, you know.
Okay, here I'm going to pop my email in. Hold on, I'll pop it in here. It's very simple, unusual name, easy to find. Sháá@sháá.com. There you go. Fab.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks.
Okay. Okay, so Sarah, are you okay? Do you want to unmute yourself and we can go through yours? And then Laurie.
Hi, I'm American and I was in the UK and had to return back to the US, and we have a real estate development company that leases physical space. And while we're moving towards virtual tours, we're trying to come up with other ways to continue engagement with existing tenants and future tenants and future prospects.
Okay, so what is your lockdown situation right now? Because I know that in America, state by state have got their own.
Well, we have property in New York, and that is on utter lockdown. And then we have property in Virginia, and it's a bit more flexible. So some people will show up for tours, but most people, we're actually not trying to be aggressive in that regard.
Yeah.
So
I was more concerned.
Moving in the same direction y'all are moving in.
Okay. Can you get into your properties other than New York? I presume you can't get into them at all.
New York, I can't get into it, but the ones in Virginia, we can, the facilities, people can get into them.
Okay. So the first thing I would do is go into every single property that you can. And rather than do some high-end videography, which might have been the way to do it in the past, I would actually be really present and reflect where we are in the moment, get into them, take your iPhone and film, and do a kind of like a walking commentary around, and make the footage as real and relevant as you can. And actually just be honest with people, like share to people, guys, we're in a challenging time. We couldn't get our videographer. I've come out to do it myself, or my brother has, or whoever you've been able to get to go down and do it. Literally just do it on an iPhone. I think this is one time when, even if you're doing high-end real estate, and even if you're doing high-end commercial real estate, where you're talking about maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars rent per month, you can still do it on an iPhone right now.
Okay.
But I would recommend you do that as of like today, tomorrow, because you don't know whether you guys are going to get locked down in 2-3 days.
Yeah.
Okay. Laurie, do you want to unmute yourself?
Hi. I'm also American, but London is home.
I'm American too. You just can't hear it.
Okay.
No, really. I was born in California.
Ah, I love California. I run Feminista Film Festival. We screen inspiring stories about women and girls, and I run the festival and a tour. And thankfully, the tour did 40 screenings before the world shut down, so that part of it is behind me. But I had planned to continue that tour and continue building it, and now I'm trying to just pivot a little bit and focus on growing my online community. And I'm just not sure how to do that, because everything has always been focused on moving people to the festival or moving people into the cinema. And now I have no place to send them. So I'm not sure what to do with them, but I want to continue to serve them and to give them inspiration. Inspiration is our big thing, to provide inspiration to women and girls around the world. So how can I keep doing that? How can I find the stories and share the stories?
Okay, so do you have a Facebook group already? I presume you do.
I don't have a Facebook group, actually. We haven't had a lot of luck on Facebook, actually, for whatever reason.
Okay, I'm surprised. Like, I would imagine you've got a Facebook group, and have you got a big Instagram account?
Yeah, well, big. It's 1,700.
Okay. Okay, so firstly, you can work on both of those things. I would definitely start with a Facebook group, because I think just groups right now, it's all about community. I know that Facebook is older demographic, Instagram younger demographic, but even then, you know, the age groups that we're all targeting, we're not targeting the TikTok demographic, right? But community is crucial. Community is on Facebook. Laurie, if you email me again, I can send you a link to a friend of mine who ran an incredible event. He was supposed to run an event in LA for 160 people. He found out 3 days before that it couldn't go ahead, and he had to turn that event into a live event, a 4-day live event, and he had 3 days to do it. And
wow.
I'm going to give you the overview of what he did, and it was epic, and I will
I
send
would
you
love
the
to
link
see that.
so you can watch it. So firstly, and I don't mind, again, Courtney, I'm happy to come on and do a little bit of training on this in a couple of weeks. He took Zoom and he used breakout rooms. So what he would do is, how his event would run, you'd start the day at 9 o'clock and people would get to choose to go and they could choose to go and do yoga, or they could go and do boxing, or they could go and do paddle boarding. That would be or do nothing. Those are the 4 options in LA. Now, the only one that he couldn't provide was the paddle boarding, because couldn't quite do that on Zoom. But he had breakout rooms. So he had one person doing boxing, one person doing yoga. And obviously, you didn't need anything, right? So you choose your breakout room, you go to that. Brings everybody together. And he does the whole, like, welcome everything to everybody. Then uses breakout rooms again for different parts of the training, different aspects of the day. And it worked phenomenally well. Like, really, really, really worked so well. Worked really, really well.
That's amazing.
So I
didn't know you could do breakout groups. That's a really great idea, because I definitely have different followers or customers. You know, I have the filmmaker group, but really I serve my audience members. So
and then the key for you when you're running it is to make sure that each of those breakout rooms has one member who's in charge. And I can go through all of kind of how they did all of that. But it was incredible event. And it has really made me want to up my game. So I'm planning on running a big virtual summit, probably in 2 to 3 weeks' time. So if any of you guys want to come, it'll be entirely free. And I'm going to be demonstrating exactly how to do this. So I'll be doing the breakout rooms. I'll be showing everybody how to do it. And it'll be a real practical session on getting everybody on, but demonstrating the technology as I'm using it.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
The best way to learn is to see somebody doing it. Okay, guys, now this is what I'm going to do. And using Loom the whole way through to record what I'm doing on my screen, and then provide that to everybody afterwards. So, yeah. Did
you say Loom?
Yeah, so Loom records your screen. So whatever I was doing right now, if I had Loom on in the background, it would record it. So what I would do is I would use Loom to record as I was going into the breakout room, so that you could watch it afterwards and you could see, okay, she pressed that button, she did this, she did that. So if anybody wants to do that, just let me know, or just email me. Awesome. Very, very happy to do that. Okay. Who else has got some questions? Just type any questions you've got into the chat box and I will happily unmute you. Jacqueline, thank you. It sounds like an amazing idea. It'll be really interesting going to your summit. Awesome. I'm trying to get together like a group of really cool people from different backgrounds who are happy to share things. And I really want to try to get as many people up and running online businesses as quickly as possible. And I just don't think that it needs to be anywhere near as complicated as some people think it is. Okay, so it really doesn't. How many of you, if you already run your business online, or at least 50% online, give me a fist bump. Whoa, not so many. What are you all doing? And I've got a whole entire, next time I'm going to make you guys all have your videos on, or I'm not going to let you on. I'm joking. I'm joking. But you might want to tell people when they're coming onto your things to prep them in advance, right? Just to say to you guys, it makes it, how much more interactive does it feel for you guys as well as me when you can see somebody's face rather than just their name? You have no idea who that person is unless you actually know them. You can't tell if this is a real good tip for you guys as well. If you're running Zooms or events from online like this, you can't possibly tell anybody's reaction, right? You can't tell whether what you've said hit home or it didn't, or you can't tell that somebody else made a comment, and you just don't get any of that emotional interaction. So I would highly recommend you email people, and yeah, the visual clues, exactly, Tracy. I recommend you email people and you ask them in advance. I don't care. You could be in your broom cupboard. You could have your PJs on. It's all good. That's fine. I love the fact that Irem, you're good. Zoom is unable to detect my camera for some odd reason. We're going to forgive you. Not sure about the rest of you. I'm joking. Okay, so let me tell you some kind of quick things for those of you who didn't give me a fist bump, so you're not online yet, I'd like to know in the chat box, could you please tell me one thing that's holding you back? Like, what is the one thing that's holding you back from getting online right now? And I'm just going to read some of your comments whilst you guys tell me. Jessica, you're very welcome. Deepa, if you want to unmute yourself, we can have a chat through that. Let me know. Yeah, I get it. If you've got kids all around you, I think we might just have to accept that. Like, I think that having kids at home and homeschooling might just be like the thing that drives more people over the edge than anything else, right? Technical Zoom skills. Okay, breakouts, cool. I can help you with that. Jessica B, it feels much more exposing. That holds you back. No. Technology is intimidating. Is only intimidating, Sarah, until you use it yourself. This is super easy, right? And the more prepared you are, the more practical you make it, the simpler you make it, the easier it is, okay? Mandy Murdoch, I'm running coaching sessions via Zoom, but would now like to move to being able to offer online courses, but still need to figure out where to start with the technology. Mandy, if you email me, shaa@shaa.com, last week I did a whole session on how to create an online course. I can send you the details for that as well. Kat, historically, most one-to-one work and taken some thought to clarify one-to-many looks like in terms of value add to your client. Kat, do you want to unmute yourself? We can talk through that quickly.
Sure, hello there.
Hello.
Yeah, so I mostly work one-to-one with my clients, and I really see the value that comes to them through that. So I'm now trying to articulate what one-to-many looks like, and it might be for a slightly different group of people within my niche. So
who's your perfect audience?
I work with private equity, private markets clients, and I'm a speaker coach. So I help them with their messaging to their investors and internally, etc. So they are normally the most senior people. They're normally the ones that need to have those conversations, and also who can just say, yes, let's do it. Whereas I get less access to the mid-level tier of people. So I think there's a combined opportunity for me doing that online within groups, because it would be a slightly different pricing structure, and also I'd get to access more people.
So I was just going to suggest that if you are in that top tier, I presume that's coming from existing contacts, relationships, referrals, etc. Very personal relationships, right?
Yeah.
And that group of people, having worked in a fund myself, they wouldn't want to be doing any kind of group work because everything is so private.
Yeah.
And also their egos are such they wouldn't want to do anything in group work anyway.
Couldn't comment.
But the mid-level, I think that there could be something where you could run group programs, whether within a division or within a company, but cross divisions. So I think it'd be hard to run a group program that had people from different funds, but you could run a program within one fund, but different people within, you know, the fund, but on different teams, different price point. Also might be interesting for you because it brings out a new skill for you. It kind of sharpens your saw in a different way. You're obviously brilliant at that one-to-one interaction, being able to read how somebody's feeling, not just what they're saying, because that's a real skill. And that's harder to do in a group dynamic. So you've honed that skill and you're, you know, world-class at that, but now maybe it's an opportunity to get world-class at something else. Adding a string to your bow. And
Yeah.
I would also say to you as well that I think you'd probably get a lot of traction in terms of approval for doing that, because funds by their very nature on the whole, unless they're fully invested in travel, which would be unusual for an entire fund, even if they're impacted, they're very future pacing by their nature. So they're already thinking about what's the upside of this. They're whilst everybody else is worrying about what's happening right now, they're thinking, where are the markets that are going to win this in 3 to 6 months time? And that's where we're going to go to work right now.
Yeah. Trying to help them get ahead of the game.
Exactly. And that's the messaging that I would use on it.
Brilliant. Thanks so much.
You're very welcome, Kat. Charlotte, would you like to unmute yourself? I'm overcomplicating the content needed for an online course, because I can definitely help you on that. Go on, Charlotte.
Hello.
Hello, my love. Go.
Yeah. So I've been trying to create a course for a while, and it's on stress, but it's quite a proactive approach to stress. It's not about stepping back. It's how do you lean into what you're feeling through a stressful situation and use that to actually drive the action you take, which is a bit counter to what most people do. And I've been massively overcomplicating it. There's so much stuff on stress out there. Every time I see something, it just makes me want to make mine better rather than just getting it out there.
So how long have you procrastinated over this for then?
Oh, probably 6 to 9 months.
And how much better would you be feeling if it was already right now?
100 times better, at least.
And you already have all the knowledge, skills and experience that you need right in your own head, correct?
Yes.
How much have you started recording?
All the video content is recorded. It's not perfect, but it's recorded.
Doesn't need to be. So what is stopping you from pressing go now?
I'm trying to overly perfect copy, which is not my strong point. I hate it.
Okay, so I'm sure within this community, within other communities, you can find somebody who's got a good skill set. You could support another small business. You could pay a freelancer a few £100, 500 quid maximum to go through and do an edit for you. That is not a reason not to press go. So I would suggest to you that you need to commit to having your course ready to launch by Friday.
Yeah. Funnily enough, I've actually just engaged with a lady who helps with corporate communication and copywriting. So, as you said, help somebody else through a tough time.
Absolutely. And get your course, because nobody's going to buy your course if they don't know about it.
No, exactly. That's step 2. Someone to help with the marketing.
Okay, so who's your perfect audience?
My perfect audience isn't the top of a company, because they get plenty of help. It's the 95% of people who do all the work.
So who would sign off your contract?
It would be typically in a company, it would be HR, but I'd like it actually just for ordinary anybody to be able to buy.
So just so I'm aware, so your end customer, let me rephrase. So the end customer and the end user being two different things.
Yeah.
Your end user is the person who uses the content. Who is your end customer? Who is the person that's going to pay for it?
The end user, ideally.
Okay, so it's on an individual basis rather than a company buying it for their staff.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Okay, in which case you need to get onto the marketing departments and the HR departments, and you want to get it on company communications.
Yeah.
You need to be finding a way to get your message out into newsletters, internal comms, and all of that.
Yeah, I thought of approaching some of the industry bodies as well, because it's a, and
if you don't, somebody else will. So the first thing I would say to you is, where are your lowest hanging fruit? Which HR directors do you know? Which marketing directors do you know? Who do you know that has an audience that would start getting this out for you, so that by the time you approach the 3rd, 4th, 5th person, semi-cold, semi-warm, you're able to say that so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so have already taken this up, because you need some credibility behind you. So focus on the lowest hanging fruit first.
Will do. Thank you.
Super pleasure. Okay, so hold up. Sylvie, do you want to unmute yourself?
Hello.
Hello, right. Fire away.
So I run a voice and accent training business, also public speaking, communications, and all that type of thing. It's recently started, before the lockdown happened, it started going into executive voice coaching. So I would go into the workplaces mostly. Before, I did actually a lot of online accent training and online voice coaching. And that's why I'm starting to build an e-learning platform now. It's just because I want to have a cash flow on the side. So it's a lot. I was always planning to do this because I was re-strategizing how I wanted to run the business, but now it feels like that there's a big time crunch, and that I need to be working on that one harder than the other side, because it just doesn't feel like it's the right time to be offering the executive voice coaching at the moment. It's quite similar to what Tracy was saying, actually, and I'm kind of holding myself back on trying to do webinars on my own as well, because it just doesn't feel like that people are looking for it right now. When people are more settled and when they're working remotely, I'm finding that maybe I just need to leave them for another 2-3 weeks until they start to understand what their challenges are, so that they can then ask the questions. Because sometimes I think if you feed too much in the beginning, it feels like that you're hard selling even when you're not trying to. Yeah.
I think it's interesting. I think it's not so much feeling like you're hard selling, but if they don't know what they need to ask, that's the biggest. So they don't know the questions right now. So you're right. You might have to leave them for a little bit, a week or two, but be ready to do that when that comes. Now, I would say that actually people's voice and their presentations right now, and really having the type of voice in communication and presentations and meetings that holds gravitas and makes your team feel calm and confident and stable is actually vital. So this isn't about winning an Oscar for your performance. This is about being the captain of your ship, even if your ship is one department.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's how I'd be pitching it.
Yeah, because I was on a webinar just listening to the FSB, and oh my goodness, there was so much panic in all the questions that were being asked, and the guy who was leading the webinar, and there was just so much panic that everybody who's sitting there is just getting more anxious as all the questions are being asked and holding it in. And
what about the guy from the FSB? Was he holding it together? Was he calm and
Well, it's the moderator, right? So the moderator is a person who's limited on time with all these different types of pressures, and on top of the pressures of the virus and all these things that are going on, trying to figure out the operations, and everybody's panicking about their own business and how it's going to run, if they can get loans. For me, I can't, because I'm a Canadian on an expat on a visa too. So then, therefore, I know my question's not going to get answered. But as you're absorbing all the energies of the people and how they're speaking, and exactly what you're saying, the way that they're coming across, it really depends on how you're managing that at the same time. So yes, I do think that it is a need, and it's quite important that people know how they're coming across and how their voices are used. But I don't think they're not thinking about going for it yet. So I think I just need to probably make some more videos and post them up on LinkedIn and see what I can catch.
Yeah, and I think you need to be proactive with it, because I'm a big advocate of really, I've had voice coaches in the past, and I've done my own training, and a lot of it has come from experience. And if you go to my Facebook business page, so if you go to Facebook.com/Sháá Wasmund, my whole name, you'll see that today, and the reason I asked you about this, about the FSB guys, is that today I did a Facebook Live with, I think 5,000 people have watched it now. There's 400 people on live. I had an HR expert, a lawyer, and an accountant. And interestingly, we were all women. It was an all female panel. Not a single one of us was panicked. We all held control of the audience. There was just as many difficult questions. But what happened was, when the people who were tuning in sensed our sense of calm, and that we all had a very simple, we all believed in the same thing. Whatever help you get from the government is a bonus, but right now, this is the new normal. We're not going to feed the panic. We're going to give you real straightforward guidance and advice, what you can apply for, what you can't apply for. And then that is what it is. Next, roll your sleeves up, pull your socks up, and get on with it. And what you saw in the comments, and it might be worth you going back and checking this, what you saw in the comments was a shift in people's own reactions, and their own comments was like, yeah, I think I've had enough of this pity party that I'm in. The government's not going to save me. I've got to save myself. I've just got to get on with it, because they feed from the leader.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you really need to get that message across to your audience.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for the inspiration. I've been feeling a little bit not knowing what I was going to do. I've been painting the balcony for the last 3 days instead. And yeah, so thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Very welcome, Sylvie. Okay, let me see. Okay. Oh, Sarah has said she's happy to help you proofread. See, great bunch. Kate has also said she's happy to help. See, this is what you want. You want a community of people here who can actually help each other. And Sarah said the same thing. I think that you have a wonderful offering, Sylvie. Okay, so I've just been given the nudge that we need to wrap it up soon. Sorry, I clearly need to do an entire day summit to be able to cope with all the content I want to share with you guys. So I want to share my screen with you because I've created something for you. Let me see. Here you go. For those of you who don't know where to start, it's really simple. How to create, market, and sell an online course. This could work for any subject, okay? It doesn't matter what doesn't matter what area you're in. And I've kept it really, really simple because I want you to be able to do this in 30 days. cmsts.shaa.com/30 days. Now, I had to do a quick workaround. A pop-up will, because I have a course called Courses Made Simple That Sell. I know some of you have already enrolled on it. A pop-up will come up because this is from that part of the site, asking you if you want to go straight through and purchase it. You can just cut that down. You don't need to do that at all. Just ignore it. Click on this, and it's a download that will literally take you through everything you need to do to create your offering, how to market it, how to get it online, and how to sell it. I think it's about a 6-page guide. It should cover everything that you need. But again, weird name, I'm easy to find. If you want to tag me in anything, or if you just want to email me, it's Sháá, SHAA, at shaa.com. Laurie, please email me as well, because I'm going to send you a link for that. Anybody else, if there's a question I haven't had the chance to answer for you guys today, please just pop me an email. Super happy to answer anything. Everybody else, another thing that I would encourage you to do, download this just to see what the whole process looks like for somebody who is selling something online as well, because look at the process of the landing page, the information, the structure. All of these things will be relevant for you, even if your design and your copy is entirely different. The process will be very similar. So I hope that has, let me stop the share so it's really simple for you guys. Let me go back to this. Here we go. Okay. So I hope that was really good for you guys. And yep, just feel free to email me, shaa@shaa.com. Super happy to answer any of it. And I promise you the guide is really, really good. It might be free, but it's still really, really good. And it should really help you, especially for those of you who are just starting out. I've kept it really simple, like color by numbers, not patronizing, but cutting out all the waffle and the terminology and all that other stuff, and just said, okay, this is what you need to do to get your business online. All right. Awesome. And Jessica, email me as well, and I'll connect you with a couple of people I know. All right, guys. Thank you. So a little fist bump. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Bye.